Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Monday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Got a lot to talk about today. We'll talk Kentucky Derby. Maybe the greatest sporting event I've ever watched in my life. The biggest upset ever. Rich Strike. If you watch the overhead view, it is truly amazing what he did. Baseball sweeps Mississippi State. They definitely postseason looked very good for them. They play Bethune-Cookman, I believe, tomorrow or Wednesday. Then they go to Columbia, Missouri to face the Tigers. Softball will play the first game for them in the SEC tournament. They're the 5 seed, so they do not get a bye. So the game on Tuesday is kind of a play-in game between South Carolina and A&M. Gators get the winner of that game on Wednesday at 5 o'clock at KDC Shoal Presley Stadium. Lacrosse is your number 7 overall seed in the Lacrosse National Championship Tournament. And that's kind of your Gator news and notes. They got 2 football commitments. Creed Whittemore from Buchholz. He'll be a slot receiver. He can run now, folks. He can flat out run. He committed. And then a big O-lineman from IMG has committed to the Gators as well. And the more I hear about Todd Golden, the more I love that dude, man. I'll have to tell some stories in the future on that, but he's got it going on. I can't. It's secret information right now, but I like that dude a lot. I like his beliefs. So anyway, let's just put it that way. Y'all know my beliefs. He thinks the same way I do. Let's go to the Titan MR hotline, and we're joined by the general manager of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yes.
Cornell.
We put one on Toronto last night. I mean, just slapped them around. The defending champs came to play yesterday, bro. And some of these series tightened up significantly. The Kings tied their series with Edmonton. The Bruins tied their series with the what the hell? The Bruins tied their series at 2-2 as well with the Carolina Hurricanes. And Florida needs to do that tonight against Washington. So NHL playoffs. How about Dorian Finney-Smith of your Dallas Mavericks, your former Gator basketball player, with 24 points to complement Luka last night, and Dallas evens up their series with the Phoenix Suns 2-2, and they dominated those 2 games at home in Dallas. So that was cool to see. I enjoyed watching that. And I like these playoffs, man. When they're competitive like this, it is fun to watch. It's more. I mean, it is 10 times more fun to watch than what we get saddled with for 8 months out of the year before the playoffs. So
they play 82 games or 84 games. Whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, and guys are sitting out. The Sixers tied up their series with Joel Embiid coming back, the local Gainesville product. Yeah. I love to throw that out there.
Yeah, he's right.
Rock.
I mean, I could throw a stone and hit his school. Not really, but it's a mile and a half away. It's a beautiful thing. So good. I mean, this is great. And the baseball team, I think you're right. I think they played their way into the postseason. This is important to get to the SEC baseball tournament. And, who knows if these guys can hit the ball and get some run support for these pitchers that are going to need it, then anything can happen in baseball. I was very surprised they swept Mississippi State. Not that Mississippi State is anything special, QB. But 3 games.
Well, they were number 1 in America at one time this year.
Before the year started, you mean?
No.
Right.
At the beginning of the year, but also like a couple of weeks in.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is Ole Miss was number 1 in America as well. And their chances of making Hoover are very slim now.
Forget it. No, either one of those teams might not make it, which is shocking. I don't know what odds you could have gotten before the season that either one of those 2 teams don't make it to Birmingham when 10 teams make it. Mississippi State had some pitching injuries for sure, but Florida took it to them, scored a lot of runs. And
I thought 12 teams made it to the tournament.
Oh, is it 12? Oh, well, okay. So you're just saying 2 don't make it? I thought 4
I think only 2 don't make it. I could be wrong. You could be right. Who knows?
Well,
Back to the NBA real quick.
Okay.
Have you ever seen anyone as unathletic but athletic as Luka Doncic?
Well, I'll tell you, what I love what he does is he can back in, use his body to be physical inside and be just as good outside. He's kind of a heavier version of Dirk, right? He's not quite as tall as Dirk, but I think his shooting is comparable to Dirk. And certainly he's the leader of that team. And he is the only reason why they would even be close in the running for the championship. But putting it on Phoenix like that in the last 2 games gives them hope. Although I'd have to say right now, when you score 142 points and you're the Golden State Warriors and you're healthy, nobody in the West is going to beat you. So, and that includes Phoenix. And so, to me, it's pretty simple. It's going to be Golden State in either Boston or Milwaukee. That's what I'm looking at, but I could be wrong about that. I think Milwaukee did a good job of putting the clamps on Tatum for Boston, made some good adjustments. That's why that coach is so good, and certainly is the defending champions are not going to go away quietly, as they won't in hockey either. So, yeah, good for the Mavs. Dallas is, and their hockey team of stars. They are leading the Calgary Flames 2-1. So everything's coming up rosy right now in Dallas. So we'll see how it goes.
Rick says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law. Okay, I don't know how to pick horses. That's why I haven't been to a track since the early 60s. Rick, nobody knows how to pick the damn horses. Let's talk about that.
Okay. Win, place, or show, QB. Win, place,
I understand that.
Show.
And you picked none correctly either. So the bottom line is, I don't know if there's a better story ever in the history of sports than Rich. I mean, what's his name? Rich Strike. I wanted to call him Lucky Strike.
The biggest underdog, or long shot, let's call it that, to win before this one at 80-1, which simply means that no money was in on him during the pari-mutuel pools. That's all that really means. And he's coming out of the 21 posts, which is crazy if you ask me.
Which they don't have a 21 posts, which is more amazing.
Yeah,
they usually only have 20.
Well, it's even, he's way outside.
No. But the reason I say this is the greatest ever, and I don't follow horse racing or any of that stuff, but the race was on Saturday. He showed up on Friday.
Yeah. Well, QB, Mind That Bird came from out of a trailer from Texas and was a 50-1 horse that they made a movie on, who did the same thing from the very back, taking the rail on the inside. And like you said, the aerial shot looked like it was incredible and great for this horse, man. I mean, great for the families, great for the owners, great for everybody. Beat all the favorites. You know, the people took a beating on the pari-mutuel wagering because nobody had this horse, and so everybody lost, right? And so now you've got real interest, because now can this guy do it on a shorter track at the Preakness in Pimlico in 2 weeks, and then can he do it on the longer track at the Belmont? But I just think that you get stories like this, and as you were saying, they're great stories. And so, there'll be a movie on HBO or something about this. There has to be, doesn't there? I mean, who the hell was this horse? I want to call the dog. I mean, who was it?
Not that the horse won, but it's how he won.
Yeah,
I mean, literally. Yeah. I mean, weaved in and out, and it's like the horse. If you go back and watch the overhead and the other views, it's like that horse kind of looked. He kind of like turned his head and looked at these dudes and said, "Here I go." And I mean, he hit like the turbo burst.
He sure did.
And it was unbelievable. I've never seen a horse go that damn fast.
Well, Mind That Bird. I just gave you a name, dude. That one's the same story. It's the same.
But did he close the gap that much?
He was in last. QB, he was in last place as they came around the last turn before the home stretch, and then he hit the rail, and nobody shut him out, and he went right to the front. I don't know. I mean, you're right. It makes it more exciting when something like this happens. It gets people to talk about the race, because I mean, how often do we talk about the Kentucky Derby? So cool. That's a cool deal. But
then what was crazy is the damn horse. Hang on a second. The horse tried to like bite all the other horses after the race.
Yeah, well, he was pissed. But think about this: if you put $5, just $5, on all of them across the board, 5 on every horse, you'd have turned it into hundreds of dollars. Because $400, you would have lost 100. You would have cleared $300 or something to that effect. I think that's the math. But anyway, 20 horses.
You probably had a better chance of winning the lottery
Well,
than that dude winning.
so $5 on 20 horses means your outlay is 100. You win 80 to 1. That means you win 400. You clear $300 with that horse winning at 80 to 1. How about that? There you go.
John says he will go out on a limb and say that horse will not win the Preakness.
Well, okay, tell me why. You can say that, but it's a shorter track. Maybe that's why, because it's a shorter track. I don't know. He needed a little extra time to catch up, and so he did. And maybe you're right, John. Maybe he has no chance. But how do you know? I can tell you this: he won't be an 80 to 1 horse at the Preakness because people will bet him. The only reason he's 80 to 1 is because there was zero money on that horse, and there's reasons for that. I guess all the experts that follow horse racing can tell you, but I don't consider anybody an expert at any parimutuel event. There are no such things called experts. It's like you might as well just try to guess how many leaves are in that magnolia tree in my backyard right there. It's just a guessing game. I'm sorry.
Well,
I know you have precedent, you have favorites, you have underdogs, all that. Forget it. When an 80 to 1 wins, nobody knows anything. Zero, QB.
Are you upset about it?
Yeah, because I didn't bet on him. Yes, I'm upset on it. I didn't have any access to bet on because it's ridiculous state. It's so hard to bet in Florida. But yeah, I'm pissed. I would have loved to put $5 on. That's what I want to do.
You wouldn't even bet on, even if you could, you would not have.
My Kentucky Derby rule from now on will be every year put money on every horse and pray for the underdog, and maybe clear a little few bucks. A little few bucks.
So if you bet $5 on 20 horses.
I just told it to you. You bet $5 on 20 horses. That's $100 outlay. You win an 80 to 1 bet. You win $400. You take away your outlay. You clear $300. But you go to dinner.
Right, but if you win with a horse that's 3 to 1, you lose money.
You do.
Okay, then that makes no damn sense.
Well, I mean, what's the big deal? I mean, you either lose 85 or you win 300. I mean, you're right. But how many horses do you see at 3 to 1 in a 20 horse race? I don't see many 3 to 1.
Well, there were some that were 4 to 1 the other day, right?
I saw
5 to 1.
I think I saw the biggest one go. The biggest favorite was 6 to 1. So you win $30 if he wins. You lose 70. You can maintain your lifestyle if you lose $70 at the Kentucky Derby.
Maintain your lifestyle. Bruce Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to have life go right. With the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com at 352-240-1779. Speaking with JC on the Titan MR hotline. We got a text on the Titan MR text line. It's from Daryl. Daryl says, "Good morning, guys. I watched a movie on the plane to Hawaii called National Champions. It's about 2 players skipping the game wanting to be paid." Is he being funny?
I don't know.
Although, speaking of that, we should hear something from the NCAA and Congress and all that this week, I believe.
I'm going to read you something an agent just said. You ready for this?
Okay.
This is an agent. His name is Russell Smith. He's out of Utah, and his firm is called Encore Athlete Marketing. And he represents 80 college athletes. And in conversations over the weekend with boosters, lawyers, agents involved in these type of NIL deals of concern to administrators, he has basically said that the NCAA's business model, well, first of all, he basically said that the moment the NCAA tries to come to interfere with one of my clients' deals, the next day is the moment they get hit with a massive antitrust lawsuit.
They've already talked about there's going to be multiple lawsuits, but here's the thing, Jason.
And the agents are saying, bring it on. Bring it on.
Right, which is fine. But they're gonna have athletes be ineligible if they do not cooperate. And that's what they can do.
Well, the Brett Kavanaugh is the Supreme Court Justice, and his concurring opinion in last summer's NCAA versus Alston antitrust decision basically warned that the NCAA's current business model would be flatly illegal in almost any other industry in America. So you could. This is going to go to the courts. It absolutely will, because once money comes out, it's hard to put it back in. And I think the NCAA and schools. And I stated this assertion, and you totally disagree with me, but I think the schools are going to get involved, and these guys are going to become employees.
No, it will not happen.
Okay.
Because, like I told you, every coach I know, every administrator I know, want nothing to do with this.
Well,
So
then
why the hell do you think they're going to use their money to pay players?
They're not going to have the choice. Legally, it's going to work against them.
No way. No way. Daryl says on the Titan of our text line, it was a real movie that was produced in 2021. Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. John says on Facebook Live, QB, do you think the Gators pitching is coming along, or Mississippi State is just a terrible hitting team? Last weekend we beat Kentucky and they turned around and beat Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee lost their first series of the year to the Kentucky Wildcats. I watched a lot of this. Mississippi State's a good baseball team. We pitched a little better, but you got to remember that game. I think it was Saturday night. It was 3-3 going in the ninth inning. We scored like 6 runs. No, our pitching still is not very good.
Right. Well, it's not good enough to win a championship, QB. That's the thing. But, listen, it's baseball. You just get to the postseason and try to get hot. That's what all these schools that come out of nowhere do when they win these things. And, I'm with you, the pitching stuff. But listen, before the season started, we didn't think the pitching would be this bad either. So maybe things are going to turn around. It's a long year. 5 months is
well, we don't have our ace, so I don't like our chances.
Well, I agree with that. Hunter Barco.
Dan says the Gators scored 24 runs. Sweeping in Starkville is a big deal. It is. Those Mississippi State fans ain't happy coming off a national championship year.
No, they're not.
But they've had injuries as well.
Yes, they have. Landon Sims is their best pitcher, and he's got Tommy John surgery, just like Hunter Barco. Tommy John surgery. So all you can do is hope they get healthy again and make it to the big leagues. That's the best you can hope for.
Clay says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, Mattress Matt lost $1.5 million, and I laughed at that dude. Yeah, Mattress Matt is some dude out of Texas that places large wagers.
They got murdered. I'm telling you, the
but he I guess that's all the money. I thought he won like $3 million on Kansas in the national championship game.
Well, the house got fat this weekend on the horse racing. All right, it happens. What are you gonna do?
So JC on the PGA Tour, my guy finished the highest out of our picks.
You got Fitzpatrick tied.
I have Matt Fitzpatrick. They play at the Byron Nelson out in Texas, where they'll shoot 34 under par this week. It's a pitch and putt course. And then they got the PGA Championship out in Tulsa the following week.
Yeah, the Byron Nelson this year is it's been last couple of years at Craig's Ranch in McKinney, and it is an easy course for these guys. Max Homa, though, how about Max Homa? I think he's won 3 or 4 times on tour. And he's a name a lot of folks don't really think about much, but he has really made a nice little living here, winning 3 or 4 tournaments. I think I want to say it's 4 tournaments on tour. QB, if you had a choice of winning 1 major or 5 PGA Tour events, what would you choose?
I'm taking my major.
Okay. What if it wasn't the Masters, but one of the other 3?
I'd still take my major.
Take your major. Okay.
You always take a major, dude.
Well, but 5 PGA Tour wins, dude. That your card lasts forever. But yeah, I think Rich Beam won a major, but then disappeared. A lot of guys, won a major and then kind of we never heard of them again. But I tell you, this Max Homa is a pretty good player. Pretty good player.
So we're going to go back to Mattress Matt here.
Okay,
the mattress guy. We got a bunch of people chiming in on him. I've never heard of the guy, except a couple people sent me tweets about him. Dan says he takes out insurance for that stuff. Mattress Matt, he's a good guy too, does a lot of charity work. And then Rick says Mattress Matt opened his warehouse for people to come stay when he did so bad. So don't badmouth him and what he does with his money. So we got people backing Mattress Matt on the program. How do you take out insurance on a wager that you play?
No idea. That's I've never heard that before. It's called gambling for a reason, isn't it? Isn't that what it is? You win or you lose.
But he does great charity work. So again, whatever he wants to do with his money. Speaking of that, did you see where the book's coming out where Phil Mickelson supposedly lost $40 million in like 4 years?
40 million. Good heavens. Wow. Yeah, I did see that. I saw that crawl across ESPN. Phil's had these issues with gambling. They haven't overtaken him, but he had some bad press with some gambling issues. But he overcame it pretty easily. I don't know, 40 million to Phil. What's he probably worth? About 250 million, 300.
I think I saw where Sergio is leaving the PGA Tour to go over there to Saudi Arabia with us. Is that where?
Sergio hates the PGA Tour. So basically, he's got 2 weeks left after they called a delay of game penalty basically on him for looking for his ball. And he got into an argument, I guess this was on Thursday or Friday, with the one of the rules officials there. And he basically said, I've got 2 more weeks dealing with you people, and then I don't have to deal with you people anymore. Yeah, he's so angry at the PGA Tour, which is the only reason anybody knows who the hell he is, right? But he's going to go run and take his club and ball over to Saudi Arabia and play in the 127-degree conditions of Riyadh. That sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it, QB?
Yeah, and who's he going to be playing against? Guys like you?
Well, no, you wouldn't find me in Saudi Arabia, that's for sure. But, yeah, I don't know who he's going to play against. Maybe some European Tour guys. I mean, that's who he seems to enjoy most, right? But let's just remember, and I don't think he does very well, is without the PGA Tour, nobody knows who he is. And so certainly – I guess he's not happy with the current management of that tour, so he's on his way. Let him go.
Okay, we got a text. We got this. This is a no-brainer. A text on the Titan MR text line. He says, "In y'all's opinion, is Duty Noble the best place to watch a college baseball game?" It's not even comparison. I mean, I guess Arkansas and Ole Miss and LSU maybe, but I'm telling you, there is nothing like Duty Noble. I like old Duty Noble better though.
Well, it's very unique. In the old Duty Noble, you basically pulled up. But, somebody who went to the game that both of us know this weekend, went to all 3 games, was up there for the trip, basically said, folks, bring their own coolers into the stadium. It doesn't matter if you're outfield or third base.
You roll in there with your Yeti that rolls, and you take whatever you want.
Bring it on in. I guess when you get 15,000 folks to show up for a game, you're not all that worried about beer sales. And so you just bring it in. And, it is surprising, though, that they're basically going to miss the postseason after winning it all last year. But, a team can catch lightning in a bottle at any time and win this thing. And that's what's so fun about college baseball to me, and softball, except it seems like Oklahoma's kind of just taken over that sport. But in college baseball, anybody, I mean, we've seen it. Coastal Carolina. Oregon State. They're
good every year, dude.
Yeah, but it's Oregon State. Even before they were really good every year, when they first became Oregon State, you're like, who the hell? How are they good in baseball? It rains there 345 days out of the 365 days of the year, and it's just a great event. The College World Series is one of my favorite of both softball and baseball, but certainly in baseball.
We got some Facebook Lives here brought to you by Mellon. Tommy says, Mississippi State Baseball Stadium is pretty awesome. Yeah. I wondered if they have a visitor's locker room. Still can't believe visitors at Florida have to shower at the O-Dome. It wasn't the O-Dome. They went in the football stadium. I think something was wrong with them because they do have – here's a good one here, JC. Scott asked on Facebook Live brought to you by Mellon. Yeah. Since y'all are talking wagering, what do you think about Florida's plus 7,500 for the SEC championship odds compared to LSU, Auburn, and Kentucky at 4,000? No way we should be behind Kentucky and Auburn. Well, we are. I saw where most people have us. They just had the SEC East odds, and we were 4th in those odds, I believe. Yeah. Behind, obviously, Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Tennessee. Yeah. What do you think about those odds?
Well, I think those are high numbers. I wouldn't waste my money. Florida's not going to win the East, but I think that you could take a flyer on maybe Tennessee or Kentucky. No, probably not. I mean, Kentucky maybe, but I don't think anybody's going to scare Georgia in the East. And I certainly think the West is going to be a little bit more interesting. Even though Alabama's going to be favored, you have some really, really good teams over there. A&M. And of course, we know everybody else on that side. But when the league when Texas and Oklahoma join, and we go to 16 teams, QB, there won't be divisions. There will not be divisions. So I don't know how that's going to work out. Have you thought about that? Do you hear anybody talk about it?
I have not thought about for 1 second. I have not thought about it.
Too far away. Yeah, it's too far away. Well, I mean, we did get all excited about Texas and Oklahoma joining the league, forgetting that it was going to be minimum 2 or 3 years, and it looks like maybe even as many as 4 when it was announced. July of 2025 is so far out of my collective conscious right now that it's just silly to talk about. But maybe they'll come before then. And if they do, what's the league going to look like? Because you're going to have 16 teams, and I doubt you're going to have 2 8-team divisions. Because if you did it that way and you brought in those 2 schools geographically, you'd have to bring Alabama and Auburn to the east. You would. And take Missouri and move them out to the west. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to have divisions. And I do think we're going to have 9 games. 9. You better have 9 games. You're going to have 9 games if you have 16 teams. That I can pretty much promise you.
A couple Facebook Lives before we get you out of here. John says the Kentucky running back got arrested this past weekend and may affect their chances. I think it was a DUI. He will be playing. Trust me.
Yeah.
This is a good question from Charlie. Charlie says, I know the SEC is known for its football, but do you think the conference is even better in baseball?
Well, when you compare the sports, baseball is less competitive in the other conferences, right? So the SEC is so far above the other conferences in baseball. As it relates to football, I think the other conferences are a little bit closer comparatively to the SEC than they would be in baseball. But I still think the SEC is the best in both.
Well, I didn't realize this. Did you know the SEC's won, I think it's 7 out of the last 12 national titles in baseball?
Wow. Well,
I heard that when I was watching one of the games this weekend.
Okay. So.
But I agree with you. It's clearly the best baseball conference in America. It's not even close.
Right.
But you're right. Like when you look at football, there's a couple of Ohio States, the Michigans out of the Big Ten are very competitive. You got OU, Texas,
Baylor.
Okie State, Baylor. I mean, and then now you're going to have USC out in baseball, football out in.
And you still got Clemson. Clemson was down last year. I think they still won. I want to say they still won. Did they win 10 games last year, QB?
They did.
Yeah. So as bad as Clemson was last year, they are a 10-game winner in that conference last year. And so, and what's amazing is that they didn't win the conference. So I just think that competitively speaking, baseball's got a lot of catching up to do the SEC throughout the rest of the country. But that doesn't mean you can't have a team that really catches fire and dominates the College World Series. And that's, what the objective is in football, though. I mean, I was so impressed with Baylor last year in the Big 12 and what Dave Aranda did. And, of course, I think you're right about Southern Cal and the SEC and the Pac-12. That's going to get better out there. So, that's good for the sport. We want that. I think we want that.
Yeah, we got real quick. Let's see here. I just had Chaz says Florida got 2 recruits from IMG Academy this past week. First time, I think they only got 1. They have 2 overall. The other they had a big offensive lineman from IMG. The other commitment was Creed Whittemore from Buchholz High School. His brother's Trent. About a 5'10", 165, 170. He can flat out run. He's a really good football player.
Yeah, old Daddy Mark. Daddy Mark's got a pipeline of family coming to the Florida football program. Old Daddy Mark. So
let's see here real quick. There was something I just can't find it. Oh, here it is. John asked on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law. What do you think the USFL did right to make games happen versus the AAFL? It still irks me. You and Team Florida didn't get to show. Oh, when we did that. Oh, they ran out of money back then, John.
That's right. It's money.
The USFL. I know they're getting good attendance when Birmingham plays, and I think Birmingham's the only undefeated team.
Okay.
You got the XFL kicking up next spring. That the Rock owns that league, and some of the coaches in that XFL. You got Stoops, Rod Woodson, Terrell Buckley. There was another Pittsburgh Steeler guy. Anyway, they got some big names as coaches. Wade Phillips is a coach in that league, so it'll be interesting to see what the difference between the XFL and the USFL is. What did I tell you the USFL players are making? Like how much a week?
4,000. Yeah.
And then if you win, you get like $800 bonus.
Yes.
I don't know what the XFL guys are going to be making. So we'll see. Andy just asked here, USFL is fizzling. Why does the XFL think they will be successful? Now, I'm not 100% sure of this, Andy, but I was told the XFL has cut a deal with the NFL where practice squad guys will be sent to different franchises for their players to play and get experience, which I think is great, if that's true.
Yeah, well, it is a money issue. It surely is. they have some good coaches in this USFL league right now. A lot of good coaches. Larry Fedora is in there. But I think you're right. I think the XFL probably has a little bit more staying power. Is our friend GA going to be able to get back to work, you think, in the XFL? I asked him, he didn't know. Have you heard anything about him? No.
He's not a head coach. I know that.
No, he would be an assistant. Okay, well, listen, we'll see how it goes. I'm not watching much of the USFL. I forget they're even on this. They were even on this past weekend. I just haven't been following it with the playoffs and hockey and basketball. And then
before we let you go, we're going to do a little Peachland Dentistry. Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Visit them at peachlanddental.com. JC, we're going to pick the 2 basketball games tonight.
Oh, wow.
You got the Celtics, who trail the series 2-1 to the Bucks. The Bucks are a 1-point favorite over your beloved Celtics.
Yes, they are. Well, give me my beloved Celtics then. And then I think Memphis will bounce back catching 10 tonight at Golden State.
I don't. Ja Morant is out. They have no chance.
Well, wait a minute. You didn't tell me that.
Well, he's a game time decision.
Okay, give me Golden State, laying the 10. I'm going to take the Celtics and the Warriors. That's what I'm going with. Yeah. And then
I kind of agree with that.
And then I'll just, since you don't follow it and I do.
Follow hockey. I'm going to take the Rangers tonight.
The Rangers, that's okay. They're a road underdog.
The Panthers will destroy the Capitals.
Okay. Really? You think so?
Yeah. I'm going to take the Calgary Flames.
Uh-huh.
And then the Predators stink. So I'll take the Avalanche.
They'll get swept by Colorado tonight. Only one I'm going to disagree with you on is I think Dallas can beat Calgary, and I think Washington's going to beat Florida. So there's 2 actually. So.
Well, the Panthers, I thought, were one of the top seeds.
They won the President's Trophy, and they got smoked the other day, and they're down 2-1. Washington's figured it out. Washington has 6 or 7 players on this current team that won it in 2017, and they're not giving it. They're healthy. I don't know. Maybe Florida gets back. I'd like to see the Panthers win. I'm not rooting for Washington whatsoever, but I like what they're doing to New York, Florida. And the Rangers, they were down 4-1. They tied the game 4-4, and then Crosby took over Pittsburgh. So I hope the Rangers win too. I hope you're right.
Okay, last question on Facebook Live here, and it's from Cam for both of us. He says, hey, JC and Shane, do you feel we are having a hard time recruiting wide receivers because we don't have what seems to be a more traditional quarterback, passing quarterback?
Well, if you're a wide receiver and you've got prospects of inclinations to go to the NFL, are you coming to Florida?
Well, the NFL is going to find you no matter what.
Okay. Are you still going to come to Florida?
Well, receivers want to catch balls.
Right.
A lot of balls.
Right.
I'm talking a lot of balls.
Yeah. I like the way Bryce Young throws it. I like the way that kid Stroud at Ohio State throws it. I like the offense that Sark will have at Texas for my prospects and Riley at USC for my prospects. So, yeah, it's a tough call, right? You're probably going to get a 3-star guy to come in here and make a name for himself. That's what's going to have to happen. Florida's got the reboot. That's all this is. And rebooting means getting guys that others may not want and then turning them into superstars like Kyle Pitts and people like that. So
I was reading this Facebook Live. All right, JC.
All right.
I'm very shocked you didn't have your Tampa Bay Lightning sweater on today.
Oh, well, I got the hat on. So
okay. All right, that's JC. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. We're taking a timeout. Come back. Got a bunch of texts and Facebook Lives to get to. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance. Some of our touchdown sponsors are MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, Aikido America, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration points where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Visors Rooftop, Dave & Buster's, Regal Cinemas, Hotel Indigo, Sensei Asian Bistro, Escape Apology, and the HBC's restaurant Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where every Tuesday you can enjoy 50% off handcrafted martinis from 4 to 10. We'll see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. We got a bunch of Facebook Lives here and some texts I need to get to. One is talking about Arch Manning. There was one, I think it was Kemp, said, watch after Manning signs how many wide receivers will follow. This is a text from Joseph on the Titan MR text line. Joseph asked, why do people think Arch Manning is even considering Florida? I'll be honest, I have not followed it closely. I think it's a 2-horse race, maybe 3 in Arch's case. Georgia, Texas, and maybe Alabama. I don't think anybody else has a chance. And I was talking to a buddy of mine who played ball a long time professionally. He does a lot of podcasts and 24/7, all that kind of stuff. He was asking me what I thought of Arch. I said, I've never seen him play. I said, just a few clips here and there. He looks more athletic than any other, than his uncles, way more athletic than Peyton and Eli. But he asked, he goes, if his name was Joe Smith, would he be the number 1 quarterback? I was like, I don't know. So I don't know how good he is, really. But I don't think there's any chance he comes to Florida unless something has changed that I'm not aware of. I know that Archie Manning, granddad, thinks the world of Billy Napier. But I don't think he's going to come to Florida. That's just my 2 cents on that. I think it's probably going to. Here's the crazy thing. Think about it. Whatever college coach does sign Arch Manning, think about the pressure to play him. You know, what if the guys that are on the roster are better than him? What a mess that's going to be. I meant to bring this up with JC. And I know a lot of our people don't watch the NBA. I don't watch it often. I prefer to watch the halftime shows or the pregame shows with Kenny the Jet Smith, Shaq, Charles, and Ernie Johnson. It is must-see TV. But yesterday, apparently, Chris Paul's wife or mother or family members had their hands put on them and all kinds of – it was out of control. And Google what Charles Barkley said about the fans, man. He's so damn funny. But it is getting out of control. So we'll see. Andy asked on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Shane, when you were with the Bears, did Virginia McCaskey have any interaction with the team? Did you ever have a conversation with her? She's pushing 100 now. Never had a conversation. If I saw her, I just said hello. She didn't probably know who the hell I was. But no, never, ever had a conversation. Camp says on Facebook, I didn't mean coming to Florida, actually. I'm saying wherever he goes, wide receivers will follow him if it's due to perception. Yeah, good point. Wherever he goes, they're going to have wide receivers there. You know, Texas just got the wide receiver transfer from Alabama. I believe they just lost one to Tennessee, who was also at USC. So guys are still bouncing around. But it's been pretty quiet. I was surprised. I think we had Franz Beard on a couple of weeks ago, and he thought like 12 to 15 players would transfer out from the Gator program by May 1st. I don't think any did. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think guys are getting nervous now because there's so many kids sitting in the portal. You're giving up a potential, well, not a potential, but you're giving up a scholarship, free education, and all that stuff, and an opportunity to possibly play. I think guys have seen so many of them go into the portal and not end up anywhere. So kind of be a scary situation for some of these kids. At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. If you missed it, baseball sweeps, Florida baseball sweeps Mississippi State in Starkville. Really helps their postseason opportunities. Softball, the SEC tournament, which I don't know if we've ever held it in Gainesville, not that I can remember. The first game is between South Carolina and Texas A&M on Tuesday. The Gators get the winner of that game. Gators are the 5 seed, so we didn't get a bye. But it should be, well, you're talking about some good softball. SEC, Arkansas is your champion, back-to-back champs, believe it or not. Lacrosse wins the American Conference title, and they are your number 7 overall seed here at Florida. I think Florida and Vanderbilt are the only 2 teams in the conference that play women's lacrosse. So there you have it. And if you missed it, because you've been sleeping under a rock, Rich Strike wins the Kentucky Derby. One of the most phenomenal things I've ever seen in sports. Maybe I'm crazy. Dan says Hannah Adams should be back soon. Had cast off this weekend. Yeah, I don't think she'll play this week. But once the NCAA tournament rolls around, she should hopefully be ready to roll. John says, I wonder if EJ, Emory Jones, was waiting on the right deal. ASU was touting him as a 5-star QB. Don't know. I don't know what their quarterback status. Obviously, the kid that started for them last year is now at LSU. I did hear where Emory got $75,000, maybe more, to go to Arizona State. So we wish him a lot of luck. Good kid. Didn't work out here, but maybe a different change of scenery and the Pac-12 will be good for him. Dan says, I think seeing Emory sit in the portal for so long made some guys nervous, possibly, because there's a bunch of them still sitting in there. And so anyway, got a text here on the Titan MR text line. Let's see who it's from. It says here, in the last 10 years, what school has won a championship in football outside of the SEC? In the last 10 years, what school has won a championship in football outside the SEC? That would have to be Ohio State when Urban won there, right? I don't know who this is from. Oh, it's Donnie asking that question. Did Clemson and Ohio State would be my guess on that, Donnie. Another text on the Titan MR text line from Joseph. No, I'm sorry, not Joseph. Jonathan. He says, how far does Gator baseball have to go for this to be a successful year? I guess he's referring in the postseason. Well, without Hunter Barco, I don't know how far they can go. Obviously, I think they're going to make the NCAA tournament now. They're going to go to Hoover. They're very talented. Their lineup is at the plate. If they can get some decent pitching, who knows? But I don't know if they have enough pitching to make it to Omaha. But crazier things can happen. It'll be interesting to see what happens with softball. They really need Hannah Adams back after this SEC tournament. And he says ASU also has Bear Bryant's great-grandson as a possible QB, Paul Tyson. Yes, big, strong guy, not very mobile, has a good arm. Man, a lot of guys have good arms, right? Dan says it's Omaha or it's unsuccessful. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that, Dan. But I mean, now without Hunter Barco, can you make it that far? Not sure. John says Emory got $75K and a vehicle. Okay, good deal. Good deal. I'm curious what you guys think about this Rich. I don't know why I'm so intrigued about it. I guess not because the horse won. It's how the horse won. And I know nothing about horse racing, but I don't know if I've ever seen a horse come from that far behind on the straightaway, or whatever they call it, turn 4. And just, it was remarkable. Dan says the freshman pitchers are settling down. They have talent. Yes, they do, or they wouldn't be playing at Florida. They definitely have some talent. All right, let's take our final time out. I got a couple things I want to go over when we come back. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Weeby Realtor, Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait
Ironwood
Media,
Golf Course,
Style Cuts, Big Mills Cheesesteaks. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. At South State Bank, we understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. South State has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. South State Bank, banking forward, member FDIC. Let's get to This Day in Sports, which is brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. Beat the summer heat and schedule your air conditioner's tune-up today, keeping you chill and the Florida heat far away. Comfort Tip Heating and Air. Call us today at 352-376-2366. This Day in Sports. In 2010 at the PGA Players Championship, TPC Sawgrass, South African Tim Clark fires a final round 67 for his first PGA Tour victory, 1 stroke ahead of Robert Allenby of Australia. That's This Day in Sports, brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Speaking of golf, I want to say the Gator women's golf team, they're at regionals this week. I think the men are this weekend. Also, congratulations to men's and women's tennis. They advanced. They both played their next match against North Carolina. The men here in Gainesville, the women travel to Chapel Hill to face the Lady Tar Heels. So tennis keeps rolling right along as usual. Okay, so John says Mississippi State got beat bad in the SEC tournament last year before going on to win the national championship, so you never know. Very true. Okay, I wanted to talk briefly before we get out of here about the 2 commitments for Florida this year. As you said, this is the second commitment, I believe, this year that the Gators have gotten out of IMG, which we know for years Florida hadn't had any success getting players from IMG. Don't get me started on IMG. Nothing against those kids, but I don't believe in IMG. I think it's ridiculous that they go to IMG. Play with your high school buddies that you grew up with and try to win a state championship. going to IMG does nothing. You already have your offers. Just because you go to IMG doesn't mean you're going to get any more offers. So I'm against that. But we got a big offensive lineman, road grader, basically, which should help. I know Creed Whittemore extremely well. He's a different type of receiver than Trent. He's not nearly as big as Trent. Trent's like 6'4.5", almost 6'5". I don't know what Trent weighs. Creed's 5'10", maybe, but can fly. Very, very shifty. So you're getting a guy who can score on a slant route is what I'm saying. Joseph said no difference in IMG and Bowl. Oh, yes, there is, Joseph. Yes, sir. Bowls may have 2 guys that they go out and so-called recruit, not the entire roster. And Bowls, most of their kids are kids that pay to go to school there that live in the Jacksonville area. Nobody that goes to IMG is from that area. And plus they can't win a state championship. So why even go? Kamari Wilson was the last class. Harris in 2023. Still good though. Look, I'm not arguing about getting the players. That's not my argument here. I just don't believe in what IMG is all about when it comes to sports. Because if you're that good of a player, what good does it do to go to IMG? Nobody can explain that to me. You can go there and you can play the Bishop, whatever, out of Las Vegas, travel to this California school and play. But you can't play. You can play people in the state of Florida, but you can't win a state title. Stay in your hometown. You already have all your offers and play with your buddies and try to win a championship. That's what I don't understand. And but yeah, Bowls and IMG they're not even on the same wavelength when it comes to that. But yes, back to Creed Whittemore, really good football player, very competitive, but can really, really run. So we have some speed. I've been talking about us not having speed at the skill positions. He will definitely help. But both of these guys have another year of high school football. I don't know how many kids we have committed in the 2023 class. I'm sure somebody here knows. John says, IMG loves to beat up on Bishop Sycamore. Yeah, that was quite a story. No doubt about it. Okay, we got a text here on the Titan MR text line from Bobby in Tennessee. Bobby says, Shane, who do you pick to win the PGA championship? Oh, well, Bobby, that's 2 weeks away. I hadn't really thought about it. They're playing out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Once it gets closer to that, I'll give you my Peachland Dentistry golf pick. But oh man, I need to do a little research to see who's played well on that golf course. But you know, you're probably going to have some of the top players in the world are the favorites. So we'll see. But we'll talk about that more in 2 weeks, Bobby. But appreciate the text. Joseph said Trinity Christian recruits crazy too. Now, yes, Joseph, I agree 100% with that. Trinity Christian does not pretty much their entire team has been recruited. Bowls, maybe 2 or 3 players. But Trinity Christian's a good program. Not as good as they should be, in my opinion. They've never had great offenses there. But yeah. As again, don't get me on the public versus private in the state of Florida. It's ridiculous. Private should be playing private in the playoffs. Public should playing public. Irritates me. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's program. Make sure all your friends and family. We got Buddy Martin tomorrow. Trying to get a special guest to talk a little NIL, what's going on around the landscape. I know we don't want to talk about it, but it is what it is. Hope you enjoyed today's program. Tell all your friends and family to like us, follow us, all that good stuff. Anyway, have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.